Hello and welcome back. Today we're continuing the series where we put the follow me capabilities of the major flight software to the test. I previously covered DJI Fly and today I'll be covering the new Litchi pilot application. This is currently available in beta only, which you can download from the Litchi website at flylitchi.com. As before, I'll be using the Mini 4 Pro, but this time I'll be using the DJI RC-N3 and my Samsung Galaxy S25 instead of the standard DJI RC, since there's no way to install third-party apps on the DJI RC. A few things to mention about using third-party apps before we get started. First, this isn't going to work if you have an Apple device. DJI only released the SDK for Android, so if you have an Apple, then I'm afraid that you're out of luck. Next, all of the third-party apps are using the DJI SDK, and DJI restricts what you can do with that. For that reason, the follow me functions are GPS based, meaning they follow the transmitted location of the controller, which in this case is my Samsung phone. This creates two problems. Since the phone GPS is not that accurate, the follow me sometimes does not keep the target perfectly in view, particularly when up close. Many of the systems allow you to reframe the shot to adjust for that, but generally speaking, these work better if you're at least 10 meters away from the device, and some won't even start if you're too close. Also, when using GPS follow, there is a constant two-way communication where the drone reports its location and heading, the device then calculates what adjustments need to be made and sends those back to the drone. All of this has to happen very quickly, and if your device is not fast enough, then the drone can behave in very unpredictable ways. Because of this, it's important that you use a high-spec device. Finally, any collision avoidance will either stop the drone or will just cancel the mode. It will not move around obstacles the way that the DJI Fly app does. With all that out of the way, let's get to it. Today we're going to continue the series where we test out the follow me functions of various systems. The one that I'm going to be testing today is Litchi. So we're going to try that one first. This is continuing from the one that we did with DJI Fly, which hopefully you've already seen that video. So we're going to start with Litchi, and we're going to be using the latest version because the older versions, they're going to be stopped at some point and there's no point in really continuing with them. But just to be clear, the newest version only works with Android, doesn't work with iOS. And okay, so once you've got Litchi running, how do you get it started? Well, if it's in the air, what you can do is in the top left-hand corner where you select manual flight, and you've got a couple of options. You've got manual flight and you've got waypoint and you have follow. And if you have follow, what happens is it's actually going to follow the device. It's not following you, and you're not going to draw a box around anybody like you did with the DJI Fly app. Instead, what you do is you just tell it to follow the device. And a couple of things here. One is the quality of the follow very much depends on the speed of the device and also the GPS signal. And in my experience, these follow modes that use GPS work a lot better further away and not up close. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this play button and it's going to say start follow, and I'm going to keep my finger on the pause button just in case. I'm going to press start. Okay, and now it's following me, and what I should be able to do is just walk away and it should follow. And yep, it's following me quite nicely there. It's actually doing a pretty good job, better than I've seen it do on some other ones. But as you can see here, if I walk over this way, it's going to follow me. If I walk towards it, it should back up and try and keep me in frame. So pretty good. I mean, I've seen some others. It does let you adjust. You can just control where the gimbal is, and you can basically just change everything, reset it, and it will just stay in that position. Right, and it's telling you where the home point is. That's kind of a nice little feature. But one of the things I really like about this, and hopefully we'll do a test on this later, is where this really shines is in areas where you've got something that's moving quite fast because it's GPS based, and also where you've got something where you're going behind trees and things like that. The other thing that this works and the DJI Flight app doesn't work is in low light, because the GPS doesn't care about low light. Again, let's just walk towards it. I should have it back up. Yep, there it goes. Now what we'll do is jump over and show you how this performs when following a car. Okay, so here we are. We're now going to continue with this, and I actually wanted to show you how this works if you're a decent distance away and following a vehicle. And I've enlisted some help here, so I'm not breaking any FAA regulations by doing this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put this into follow mode as we did before. So up in the top left hand corner, select follow, and we're going to press play and start follow.
Flight starting.
And I'm going to keep my thumb on the pause button just in case. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a circuit around this car park, and you'll see that we go into trees and we lose sight of the car momentarily going through the trees. But what you'll see is that that doesn't actually matter too much with things that are following a GPS. So my driver can set off and away we go. And here we are. You can see the drone happily following along the car here. And we're still good line of sight. But now what we're about to do is we're about to head into these trees. Now it's entirely possible that the trees will give us a little bit more GPS error, but it should still be good enough that the drone happily follows it. And this is where something like the DJI Fly app kind of lets you down, because it's purely vision based, and while that's great for low speed things, it really doesn't work too well when you get into trees and other things like that. So, but you should see, here we are, we've come back out, the drone's picked us up again, it's following along, and what it's actually doing now is it's flying backwards but keeping us in shot. So pretty neat. So that's Litchi. Pretty straightforward. We're going to park up here, and okay. So that's Litchi showing you how it works in GPS mode. Well, there you have it, the follow me function in Litchi. As before, there are a few things to think about in terms of pros and cons. On the plus side, it is reasonably cheap. In fact, at the moment, it's free because it's in beta. It's great for following things that are far away, and it allows you to make adjustments with the sticks to reframe if the object is not in the center. It will also work in low light, and it is not affected by trees and other obstacles obscuring the target. On the negative side, it doesn't do quite so well up close. It only tracks the device, which usually means it will follow the pilot instead of a different target, and it only runs on Android. But depending on your needs, this can be a great option, and I've used this functionality to follow vehicles on commercial shoots because it works without the risk of losing the target and having to start all over again. Anyway, if this video was helpful to you, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up, as it really does help spread the word about the channel. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.